So after I've shown you how to make the crispy skinned salmon previously, we had a little bit of belly that we didn't use. And now I'm going to show you how to make a delicious starter with this. It is such a yummy preparation. It's gonna take only a couple of minutes with a really simple sauce. This is gonna be a beautiful start to your meal. Whether you're gonna have the salmon one day and the tataki on another, that is all up to you. But when you buy a piece of salmon, you want to make sure that you use everything. We don't want anything to waste, yet I do want to use every single part of that fillet to its absolute best. And the belly has a lot of fat. And this fat is real beautiful with a Japanese inspired sauce where we're going to be using a combination of soya sauce, lime, a bit of chili, and we're going to use some fresh spring onions to really brighten up the dish. It's going to only take a couple of minutes, and the main preparation technique we're going to show you is searing the salmon in a really hot non-stick pan. That's what they call tataki. It means that it is still raw inside, but the outside is flash cooked in the pan. Really simple. We're simply going to use a bit of oil. We don't need to use any seasoning in this case because we have a salty sauce that is going to really marinate all of that salmon afterwards. So once it's coated in the oil, we're going to heat up the pan and we're going to flash it for just a matter of seconds. It's really important that we do not overcook the salmon. It's rather thin, especially on the edges there. So we're gonna give it a really good sear on the top, tiny bit on the side, and that's it in this case. We're not gonna touch the bottom because it's simply going to overcook and it's gonna take away that beautiful rawness of the salmon. And that is really what we're looking for. So I'll put a pan on the heat. Gonna be a little bit patient, making sure that it comes up nicely. The pan needs to be really, really hot because we want to get a nice sear on the outside. The caramelization of that salmon is gonna bring a lot of flavor to this dish. But if the pan is not hot enough, we're not gonna get that nice browning, we're not gonna get the flavors, and if we leave it too long in the pan, it's going to overcook. So heat management is key to the success of this dish. It is so simple, but it's also simple to mess up. So whilst we wait for the pan, we're gonna look at our sauce ingredients. We have oyster sauce for texture. We have soya sauce that's gonna bring a nice saltiness, beautiful umami flavor to add to the salmon. We're gonna use lime juice that's gonna bring a refreshing tone. It's also gonna cure it a tiny bit whilst it sits on the plate for a moment. That acidity is gonna work with the fish and it's gonna give a beautiful, beautiful texture. We're gonna have our spring onions thinly sliced, gonna brighten up the dish, bring a nice tang to it, and our chili for a little bit of spice. It has all the flavor elements that I really like. It has acidity, it has fatness, it has something refreshing and a little bit of spice all together. A starter that you can hardly beat. As we see, the pan is smoking. That's what we're looking for. We're going to be searing on the most beautiful side, which is the inside where it came off the bone. And that's gonna go in there really nice and hot. We don't want to touch it too much, we don't want to move it, we just want to lay it down there. Beautiful flavor, it's gonna enhance the flavor of that salmon, of that fat that is gonna come out and really bring this dish to life. It has to be hot, it has to be quick. We can't overcook the salmon because that will destroy the purpose of this dish. That's sizzling real nicely. And you already see there's a nice caramelization down into the bottom. We leave it for a second. Be careful not to burn your fingers. And that is all we need. As you see, it's a couple of seconds. We just sear the outside and a tiny bit here on the belly. Transfer it straight to the cutting board, where we're going to be able to let it to rest, let it to cool down. We're going to be mixing together the sauce. We'll be done in a second. So we have 1 part oyster sauce, 1 part soy sauce, and just a drip of lime juice. And that together is gonna give a really delicious, refreshing marinade. So we have our salmon here. We're going to turn it over. We're gonna be able to slice it easier and prevent it from falling apart too much. This salmon is very delicate, so don't worry too much about it. We want slices of roughly 5 millimeters thick. And once carved, they can go straight to the plate. I prefer to use a plate that's a little bit like a bowl, because the sauce is gonna sit real nice around the salmon. You can plate it the way you like. So for the sauce, we're gonna need a little chili. If the chili is too roughly chopped, it might end up being too spicy. We don't need much, but we do want to take care when we're cutting this that it's cut real nicely. So with our knife we'll make gentle strokes. And after we have this julienne, as they say beautifully en France, we go and cut it into small bits. Don't want to use the seeds. They tend to be too spicy. And we'll add this to our sauce. Then we'll take some spring onion, give it a little wash. Sometimes there's sand in between the leaves, so I usually take out the outer leaf to make sure that I don't have any sand in there. And then we'll cut it two ways. We're going to use the green and we're going to use some of the white. Now the white bit, I want to use it and we'll cut it in circles. Long strokes with the knife. Nice and thin. And we're going to add that to our sauce. Now for the green bits, I'm going to use them a bit more decoratively. I cut off the edges. I cut it in half on one side. Open it up, make sure there's no sand inside. We're gonna cut it into really nice thin stripes. That'll do beautifully. Then we have our sauce here, so that the soya sauce, the lime juice, we use the oyster sauce to bring a bit of texture to it and also an extra umami layer, and that we're gonna spoon over the salmon. And we really fill up the bottom of the plate and use the green bits decoratively, and there we have a salmon tataki with a Japanese style sauce and spring onions.